Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you love captivating stories about men transforming into women in unique and fascinating ways, then be sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Now, let's jump right into today's tale.
Chapter 2: The Proposition. Jules never did well with ultimatums, especially not in the dead of night and with his heart pounding in his ears. The cab ride was a blur of city lights and Juliet's high-strung perfume. Saskia rode shotgun, legs elegantly crossed, occasionally glancing back at Jules with the kind of predatory amusement that made him squirm in his seat. "Stop fidgeting," Saskia commanded, catching his eye in the rearview mirror. Juliet Rivers never fidgets. She makes others fidget in her presence. "I'm not Juliet yet," Jules muttered, but straightened his posture instinctively. "And with that attitude, you never will be," Saskia replied, her crimson lips curving into a smile that was equal parts promise and threat. "Confidence is 70% of femininity. The other 30 is knowing how to arch your back in a cocktail dress." Juliet snorted beside him. "Don't listen to her. It's 90% knowing how to fake an orgasm and 10% having a good esthetician." The cab driver's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, and Jules felt his cheeks burn. Juliet's penthouse was all velvet and glass glamorous chaos, glittering with the detritus of her life. Shoes scattered, champagne flutes half full, a silk robe slung carelessly over a Louis Vuitton trunk. Jules stepped inside, feeling like he'd trespassed into a forbidden temple. The air smelled expensive, jasmine and sandalwood with undertones of last night's champagne. "Home sweet home," Juliet announced, kicking off her heels with practiced abandonment. They skittered across the marble floor, joining at least 4 other pairs. "Or your home, I should say, for the foreseeable future." Jules ran his finger along a crystal vase filled with peonies. "Do you actually live here, or is this a museum of debauchery you maintain for Instagram?" "Both," Juliet replied, unruffled. She swept toward the bar cart, a brass and glass affair that probably cost more than his monthly rent. "Besides, my followers expect a certain aesthetic. Controlled chaos is my brand." "Nothing controlled about it," Jules muttered, picking up a lacy thong draped over a lampshade. "That's not mine," Juliet said without turning around. "Then whose?" "Don't ask questions you don't want answers to, darling," Saskia interjected, plucking the underwear from his fingers and tucking it into her purse. "What happens in the penthouse stays in the penthouse, a rule you'll need to internalize." Juliet poured vodka into 3 tumblers, her hands only slightly trembling. "Sit," she ordered, gesturing at the couch. "We need to make this official." Jules sank into the velvet sofa, midnight blue and impossibly soft. Probably cost more than his car. Define official. Saskia flicked a lighter, lit a scented candle, and fixed Jules with a look. "Listen up, darling. Rule 1, no half measures. From the moment Juliet leaves, you're her. Day, night, in public, in private. No slipping." "Even when I'm alone?" Jules asked, accepting the vodka Juliet thrust into his hand. "Especially when you're alone," Saskia insisted. "Method acting. You think Meryl Streep turns it off when the cameras stop rolling? No, she becomes the character. You become Juliet." "I'm not sure that's how Meryl." "Rule 2, Saskia continued, ignoring him. "No men in the bedroom until you've mastered the basics. I don't care how pretty they are or how persuasive their tongue." Jules choked on his drink. "I wasn't planning on." "You'd be surprised what you'll plan on after 3 cosmopolitans and a well-placed compliment about your eyes," Juliet interrupted, settling beside him. "Trust me, the male gaze is intoxicating when you're not used to it. And you, with those lips and that ass, will get plenty of attention." "My ass," Jules blinked, resisting the urge to look over his shoulder. "Runs in the family," Juliet smirked. "One of Daddy's better genetic contributions. Mother's cheekbones, father's ass, we lucked out in the DNA lottery." Saskia nodded appreciatively. "The foundation is there. We just need to accentuate." Her gaze swept over Jules with the clinical precision of a sculptor assessing a block of marble. "Your hips need padding, but not much. Waist is already narrow. Shoulders perfect, delicate like a ballerina's. Hands, remarkably fine-boned for a man." "He moisturizes," Juliet supplied. "Always has. Remember when he stole my Lummer cream in high school?" "It was for a rash," Jules protested weakly. Sure it was, sweetheart, Juliet patted his knee. Just like those ballet classes were for posture. Juliet nodded, eyes fierce. Saskia's going to handle your training. I'm transferring money into a new account, enough to live, plus a bonus if you last the full year. And my lawyer will update my will. Inheritance split 50-50. Jules nearly choked on his vodka. You're serious? Dead serious, Juliet confirmed, knocking back her drink and pouring another. 2 million in the account. Another 3 when you complete the contract. Plus access to all my credit cards, investments, the lot. 5 million pounds, Jules whispered, the room suddenly spinning. For playing dress-up. For saving my life, Juliet corrected, her playful demeanor slipping to reveal genuine fear. This stalker, he's different, Jules. He knows things, personal things only someone close would know. Like what? She glanced away. Like the birthmark on my inner thigh, like the medication I take for anxiety, like the fact that I still sleep with my childhood stuffed rabbit when I'm stressed. Jules frowned. That's specific. Exactly, Juliet's lips quirked in a tired, fond smile. I'm not safe here. I need to disappear. You get freedom. And a chance to live as someone else. Someone who matters. You think I don't matter? Jules asked quietly. Juliet's eyes softened. I think you've spent your whole life being the reliable, invisible twin, always in the shadows, always following the rules. When was the last time you did something reckless? Something just for you? Jules remained silent, knowing she was right. Saskia leaned in, her perfume dizzying. And you get me as your fairy godmother. I'll teach you everything. How to walk, talk, flirt, fake an orgasm, and handle a push-up bra like a pro. I don't need to know how to fake an orgasm, Jules objected. Oh, honey, Saskia patted his cheek. Every woman needs to know how to fake an orgasm. It's the foundation of civilization. Men build skyscrapers thinking they're gods in bed. Jules looked between them, the dazzling, exhausted sister he'd always both envied and pitied, and the friend who seemed to relish his discomfort. He felt his resolve sliding, replaced by something hot and wicked he'd never dared name. And what about all the body stuff? He asked quietly. I can't just wake up as you. Juliet's face softened. We're starting with the basics. Wigs, makeup, my old birth control pills. She winked. You always were a late bloomer, Jules. Birth control pills, he repeated, brow furrowing. Low-dose estrogen, Saskia explained. Subtle but effective. They'll soften your skin, redistribute some fat to your hips and cheeks, slow body hair growth. Will they give me, Jules made a vague gesture toward his chest. Breasts, Juliet laughed. Not on their own, no, but they'll lay the groundwork. Combined with the proper undergarments and a hormone regimen Saskia's doctor friend will prescribe, you'll have a modest but perky bosom in no time. Doctor friend, Jules raised an eyebrow. Is this legal? Darling, when you have money, the law becomes more of a suggestion than a rule, Saskia waved dismissively. Saskia produced a sleek black case from her tote, and some extra help. She opened it, revealing the most realistic breast forms Jules had ever seen, smooth, supple, almost disturbingly lifelike. These will feel real, even to you, and she grinned, flipping open a secret compartment, your new best friend. Inside was a prosthetic so perfect, so shockingly explicit, Jules flushed scarlet. Flesh-toned silicone, anatomically correct down to the last detail, nestled in custom-molded padding. Jesus Christ, he breathed. Saskia's eyes sparkled. This is state-of-the-art. You'll tuck, glue, slip this on, and no one will know, not even you after a few weeks. There's a catheter so you can wear it for months. And the nerve interface, she winked. Well, you'll see. Nerve interface, Jules echoed faintly. Tiny sensors, Saskia explained, running her finger along the inside of the prosthetic. They attach to your own nerve endings. Pressure, temperature, touch, you'll feel it all. Technology is a marvelous thing. You're telling me I'll actually feel sensations? There. Jules gestured weakly toward the prosthetic. Think of it as an upgrade, Juliet suggested, examining her nails. Like going from basic cable to premium streaming. All the channels, none of the commercials. The hormones will help with that too, Saskia added. Increased sensitivity all over. Your skin will become your largest erogenous zone. You'll feel things differently. How differently? Let's just say orgasms will be less like firecrackers and more like rolling blackouts, Juliet smirked. Full body experiences that make your toes curl and your vision blur. Jules felt lightheaded. This is a lot. Juliet laughed for the first time that night, the sound brittle but bright. Welcome to womanhood, Jules. We bleed, we suffer, we fake it till we make it. And we spend a fortune on hair removal, Saskia added, running a critical eye over Jules' forearms. Speaking of which, we'll start with full-body laser tomorrow. 8 sessions should do it. 8, Jules balked. Unless you want to spend an hour every day with a razor, Juliet countered. Trust me, smooth is better, especially between the legs. Nothing ruins the mood like stubble burn on your thighs. Jules took a shaky breath, heart pounding. And you, where will you go? Juliet's smile was suddenly sly. I'll be Leah now, new hair, new city, new life. I'll call you when I can, but you're on your own. Completely on your own, she emphasized, her expression grave. My stalker can't know I've left. He can't suspect anything. As far as the world is concerned, I'm still here, living my fabulous life. Which means social media, Saskia added. Constant updates, photos. Juliet never goes a day without posting. I don't know the first thing about social media, Jules protested. You'll learn, Juliet promised. My passwords are in a notebook in the safe. The combination is our birthday backwards. He closed his eyes, considering. A year may be too living as Juliet. Parties, privilege, peril, Saskia's knowing hands on his skin, his body slowly becoming something new, the thrill of being seen, the danger of being discovered. He imagined waking up in this penthouse every morning, slipping into silk instead of cotton, feeling the weight of breasts against his chest, the swish of hair against his shoulders. The thought was terrifying and exhilarating. He opened his eyes, meeting Juliet's. Deal. Juliet's relief was so palpable, he almost wept. She hugged him, fierce and unrestrained, pressing her mouth to his ear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're saving me, Jules, and maybe yourself. Don't thank me yet, he murmured. I haven't walked in your heels, literally. You will, she whispered back, and you'll be magnificent. Saskia clapped her hands. Enough sentiment. Juliet, pack your bags. Jules, finish your drink. We start at dawn. Dawn, Jules groaned. Can't we start at a more civilized hour, like noon? Juliet Rivers would never sleep past 9, Saskia replied firmly. Even after a bender, her metabolism is legendary. My metabolism is fueled by anxiety and expensive supplements, Juliet called over her shoulder as she disappeared into her bedroom. The pills are in the medicine cabinet. Green bottle. Take 2 before bed, 1 in the morning. Jules stared at his empty glass, reality setting in. This is insane. I can't possibly pull this off. Of course you can, Saskia replied, refilling his glass. You've got the face, the frame, and most importantly, the desperation. I'm not desperate, he objected. Aren't you? She raised a perfectly arched eyebrow. Trapped in a mediocre job, living a mediocre life, always the footnote to your sister's headline. Tell me you haven't dreamed of stepping into her spotlight, just once. Jules remained silent, unable to deny it. Juliet vanished into her bedroom, emerging 10 minutes later as someone else entirely. Hair cropped, makeup scrubbed, a duffel bag slung over her shoulder. In baggy jeans and an oversized sweatshirt with a baseball cap pulled low, she looked like a college student heading home for the weekend. Unremarkable. Invisible. She pressed a key into Jules's hand, her eyes shining. Lock up behind me, sis. The word sis sent a jolt through him, sharp and sweet. He swallowed hard. Be careful. Always am, she replied, though they both knew it was a lie. She kissed his cheek, leaving a faint lipstick mark. That's the last time you'll wear my shade on your face. From now on, you apply it yourself. And just like that, Juliet Rivers was gone. Jules stood frozen, the city's hum rising through the windows, the air scented with perfume and possibility. The key in his palm felt impossibly heavy, a small metal token representing a life he'd never lived but would now claim as his own. Saskia looped her arm through his. Come, darling, time for your very first lesson. Strip. Jules blinked. What? Saskia's grin was wicked. You heard me. Lesson 1, a real Juliet has nothing to hide. I'm not stripping for you, he protested, though his voice lacked conviction. You're not stripping for me, she corrected. You're stripping for yourself, for the Juliet you're becoming. She gestured toward the floor-to-ceiling mirror on the far wall. She needs to see what she's working with. Jules hesitated, heart hammering against his ribs. Consider this the first test, Saskia murmured, her breath warm against his ear. Juliet would never hesitate to show off her body. Are you Juliet, or are you still Jules? With trembling fingers, he reached for the top button of his shirt.